All right, we're going live. I'm bringing it up on my phone too, so I can see when you guys join. Hopefully. Today we're going to be talking about the 10 biggest business myths that people believe, and it holds them back from having a successful business. Mostly it holds them back from starting a business, but I've also seen it even once you have a business. People who believe these myths will self-sabotage, they won't take risks, they won't do things that would actually help them to build a successful business. So let me bring this up on my phone real quick because I want to see if everyone joins. See who all is jumping on. Perfect. All right, guys. So as you join, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know you're here. Tell me where you're from. If you already have a business, tell me what kind of business you have. But I'm just going to jump right in. So the number one most common business myth that I hear from people, especially when it comes to just getting started, is that they don't have enough money or capital, is what they, how it's phrased. And that is a myth because you would be amazed how much you can do with a little bit of creativity, right? One of the biggest things that I teach in the Business Builder course, the reason that I have it on day 3 is because our capital or our resources can come from places that you wouldn't imagine, right? So a lot of people think that they have to have $1 billion or even a couple $100 extra to start a business, and that's just not true. My first business ever that I started, I wanted to have a rescue ranch for veterans and rescued horses. And I, in my head, for the longest time figured like, well, I have to make $1 million so I can buy a ranch, so I can do all this stuff to get it started. And one of my friends kind of looked at me like, a few years into this dream, one of my friends looked at me and was like, why don't you just buy what you can and start where you can? And so that's one of the biggest things I teach is even if you don't have any extra money, you can still get started with your business. And there's a ton of ways to do it, right? But that's such a myth. So don't hold yourself back if you think that you don't have enough money to get started. Hey, Leslie, how's it going? Yes, good. As you guys join, throw in the comments. Leslie, if you already have a business, let me know. Type in what you do. So, resources. Number one most common myth. Don't believe it. You can get resources as you go along. With a little bit of creativity, you can actually pre-sell items or kind of create into the next level of your business. So don't let lack of money hold you back. I promise you, it's so much less of a roadblock than most people make it out to be. So the second most common myth, hey Randy, what's up? Yay, hey, thanks for jumping on, you guys. We just did this first myth, so you guys you'll have to jump back and show that one. The second one is, or see that one. The second one is that you have to be an expert to get started. This is a really common myth too. A lot of people say that they have a mission or a message they really want to share, but they don't feel like an expert or they don't feel like they know enough. And I actually just recently saw a quote from James Wedmore that is, if you wait until you're ready to start, then you're getting started way too late. And I totally agree. From what I've seen, people who wait to be an expert or wait to be the best in their field are never going to actually get to that expert stage, or they're never going to feel comfortable enough. It's a mindset of being willing to grow and learn as you go, and to do these things to get practice in them by doing, instead of being held to this kind of perfectionist standard that you have to know what you're doing from the get-go. So that's number 2. That's also a big mindset block, right? A lot of us believe that we're not enough the way that we are in order to affect people. And I can promise you, I've felt this one too, for sure. But when you get out there and you have the intention to serve and you have the intention to put in the work, imagine how much you can help people who aren't as far along as you are. So even if you're only on, step 5 of a 20-step journey, there are people that are on step 1 through 4 that you can still serve and you can still help, right? One of the things that I do for my business, I look at it as my full-time job to be as good as I can be in my business, especially working with clients, making sure that I'm doing continuing education and all of that. But when I very, very first started, I didn't feel like I was good enough. And so you just take the baby steps that you can. And again, it kind of goes back to starting where you're at with what you have. So comments, Leslie says you have a unique makeups products. Awesome. So this will apply for you because I think Unique's an MLM. I'm pretty sure. So these will help you too, actually, because not only in scaling your MLM business, but also if you ever wanted to start your own, this is really valuable stuff to be working through. So the third most common myth is have to know what you want to do or sell before you get started. This one is kind of a half myth, I would say. So the way that I approach this in my courses and my training is that you don't have to know what you want to sell in order to get started. It's more important to start and to get experience and to learn as you go than it is to get it right the first time. There's one thing that I've kind of learned in business is there really is no right. There's no there's no perfect way to do it, and a lot of us look for that. A lot of us look for the right action or the correct step and get this kind of analysis paralysis. But the best thing that you can do is just keep taking steps. They're going to be imperfect. They're going to have failures and lessons and all this other uncomfortable stuff, but there is so much value in that that you'll miss out on if you keep trying to find the perfect step or the perfect product or the perfect whatever. So that's myth number 3. The myth is that you have to know what to do or sell in order to get started, and it's not true. Pick something and start practicing. We know how much opportunity there is in business. For all my MLM ladies that are on right now, this is going to be super true for you. You guys get to learn this probably better than most entrepreneurs because you go in and you don't have your own products usually to sell. You're selling for somebody. But that's one of the best ways to get practice, putting yourself out there, learning how to sell, learning how to manage your own business. So it's really invaluable information if you ever decide to sell your own products down the road. So then myth number 4 is that you have to be confident or extroverted. I know that there's so many coaches that kind of have my personality that are like these really like extroverted, high energy and coaches, and so I think the industry has really gotten this flavor of really in your face people, but that's another myth. I've seen so many successful introverts and almost more successful introverts than I have extroverts. The extroverts are just louder. So for those of you guys who are on, comment, let me know, do you consider yourself introverted or extroverted? Where do you kind of fall on that? But the myth, I've seen a lot of introverts say, well, I can't start a business because I don't have the right personality, or I can't start a business because I'm not that social. I don't know what I would say. And what I would say is to differentiate between introversion and insecurity, and not to use being an introvert as a comfort blanket or an excuse for not dealing with or addressing insecurities. Even extroverts have insecurities. Like even myself, working, I would consider myself like pretty confident and super extroverted. And even for me, it's hard to be vulnerable. It's hard to get out and share all this stuff with people, it's kind of uncomfortable. So if you are an introvert, don't let that hold you back. I really encourage you to look at yourself as an example for other introverts. There are a lot of people who are on that side of the personality spectrum, if you will, I guess, or like preference. And those introverts are really, you guys are the ones that are really used to observing. You learn a lot. You have a lot of things to offer in this space. It's just a matter of having the confidence to accept that about yourself, do the things that work, even if they're a little bit uncomfortable for you, and then look at it as you are leading other extroverts to help kind of be seen and heard in this space. So that was myth number 4. Oh, Ty, yes, so you're an introvert with extrovert I can't talk today. Tendencies. Yeah, I definitely think I'm an extrovert with introvert tendencies. I'm the opposite. What do you guys? So we have Leslie, Randy, and then Gritty. Is that how you pronounce that? Grit? I'm not sure. Marie. I'm not sure how to pronounce her name. But okay, so then myth number 5, the biggest myth number 5 is that you can't have a business if you have mental health challenges. This is a big one, you guys. I hear this every single day. People saying, oh, I have depression or anxiety or PTSD or trauma and all these other things. And that's why they say that they can't have a business. And this is a myth that's hard to get through because I personally think, from my own experience, that this one is easy to justify. And for me, when I was really depressed, I used it as a justification for not doing my business. I used it as, and I'm not saying used it as like an excuse by any means, because it's a valid excuse, but it won't prevent you from being successful if your business is really what you want to do. So if you are someone, and I am someone, by the way, so that's why this myth is a little bit more personal. I can speak from experience, but if you are someone with mental health challenges that feels that you can't be successful in business because of them, just know that your mental health challenges are not holding you back. They are not like a bar that says like, oh, these people can be successful and these people can't. It's just a matter of knowing yourself enough to form fit your business around your needs and your tendencies, and to be honest with what you're going through. So for me, I know I have seasonal affective disorder. I have a lot more energy and inspiration and creativity in the summertime, and a lot more, depression symptoms in the wintertime. So for my business, I very much designed it intentionally so that I do a lot of promotion, I do a lot of, audience building, creation, product building during the summer, and then I've planned it so I can take most of the winter off. That way I don't have to try to go against my tendencies. So if you're someone that has mental illness, and I know I'm going to kind of go on this one for a while, but if you're someone who has mental illness and you're worried about that holding you back, start to think a little more creatively about how you could fit your business around that so that you can still have a healthy schedule or a healthy life and work in tandem with any mental health challenges that you have. So for example, if you know that you have depression, how can you pre-plan posts or social media or pre-plan your launches so they're 4 times or available for you for times that you're not feeling as creative? Start thinking in advance of how you can take the things that are going to make it more challenging for you. I don't want to say weaknesses, but the elements of your personality or your experience that might make it more challenging for you to be an entrepreneur. Start thinking about how you can pre-plan to get around those. So let me know what you guys think. Shoot me in the comments, is there anyone that has resonated with these myths so far? Have you believed them? Have you heard them? Tell me what your guys' experience has been. So the number 6 kind of goes along with the one I mentioned, but it's basically that you have to be a certain way. One that I believe forever is that oh, well, if I'm not a material girl, then I can't be successful. That, I don't know why, I don't know where that even came from, but in my head I was like, yeah, well, if I don't, want to live in a mansion, then I can't be successful, because you have to have that desire. I don't know. So we all have these weird beliefs. Another one that I had before was oh, people with big dogs don't get successful, which sounds so ridiculous when you say it, but when you just think it or believe it, you don't always question it, right? So if you guys have any weird ones like that, let me know. But start thinking about who you view as who gets to be a successful person, or maybe what certain way you think you might have to be in order to be successful or to have a business. So that was myth number 6. Number 7 is that you have to take advantage of people. This is another one that I hear all the time, and this is actually one of the reasons that I formatted my business the way that I have. So there has been a history of manipulation, propaganda, and abuse, oppression in marketing, sales, and business. I will absolutely acknowledge that. There have been people who have taken advantage. There have been people who have not done ethical business. But that is all the more reason for people who are genuine, generous, kind, loving, authentic. That is all the more reason for people like that to rise up and start claiming more space in business. I think that we have a responsibility now, especially with everything that we are going through socially and collectively. We have a responsibility to start giving money to authentic businesses and to be authentic ourselves, and to dig deep, to have that human connection and to have that authenticity and that equal exchange, that symbiosis, rather than the way that things used to be done, which was more manipulative and more, I think, destructive. So that is myth number 7, that you have to take advantage of people. It's not true. You don't. I've personally proven that you can do things authentically and get better results. It just takes a certain strategy and it takes a certain mindset in order to be able to go in and do that. So then myth number 8 kind of goes along with that. And it's something that someone posted on my wall a couple days ago, but it is that only bad people desire money. So this is so common. Let me know if you guys have heard this one. Throw it in the comments. Have you heard the myth, or have ever heard anyone say that oh, only bad people desire to be wealthy, or only bad people want to be rich? I have heard this before. This isn't one that I typically believe, but I can see where people come from, because we have this kind of idea in our society that that rich people have stepped on other people, kind of like what we just talked about. The business owners have taken advantage of others, and that's the only way to get money, yada, yada, yada. Again, it's totally untrue. good people desire money just as much as any other proportion of the public, right? But here's the catch and here's the problem. Good people have been told that money is the root of all evil. They've been told that good people don't desire money. They've been told that they can't get rich or it'll make them evil, right? And so what has that created? It's created this society where good people aren't thriving. Good people are the people who are saying, well, I better just accept my lot in life, or good enough is good enough. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with enjoying what you have. And gratitude, I'm huge on gratitude. But like I said before, how destructive is it to think that good people can't get successful? Automatically then, anyone who's successful is not a good person. Do you see how that works? If you believe that a good person can't be rich, then any rich person you meet, you're going to assume is a bad person. So hopefully that makes sense. Hopefully you can see how that works. So this myth is super, super destructive, and it holds a lot of really good people back from trying to be wealthier, from trying to spread their impact or their message. This is one that I'm really passionate about because I want to see more good people rise. And in fact, that's the only people that I work with. I don't teach manipulative tactics. I don't teach, even though I know a lot of like marketing tricks and psychology and stuff to kind of circumvent or do a lot of like, consumer manipulation because I've learned about that. It's something that I can use as a reference and make into something authentic, know how it's currently being used and see how to improve it, rather than using that against people unbeknownst to them. Sorry, my dog's there. I don't know what's going on over there. And then, so the 9th myth is, and this is another one that people get, is that they have to be the face of their brand. And let me know what you guys think. So we just did the one on only bad people desire money. That's super common, you guys. Let me know if you've ever heard that or believed that, or if this is making sense. So the 9th one is you have to be the face of your brand. So a lot of people don't want to be the face of their brand, and that's fine. I know that we're like influencers are a really big thing where you get to know some person as the face of their brand, but there are so many companies that operate without a public figure. So I mean, I'm sure you guys can name 10 at the drop of a hat of really popular, industry leaders, etc., that aren't the face of their brand. So if that's something that you believe or have thought but not really brought awareness to, start to think creatively about, okay, if you don't want to be the face of your brand, then that's fine. You can just have a logo, you can have any other form of representation and still build a really strong brand story and a really strong interaction with your brand and your consumers and your audience. Hopefully that makes sense as well. So then the last one is, and this is one of my favorites as well, is, well, my industry is flooded. And I hear this all the time, which is so funny. I literally just read a book a couple of days ago that was written in 1906, and it was someone was writing about how their industry was flooded. And they were in sales. I was like, sales is never flooded. It never will be, right? Sales is, we do it all day, every day. So if you are saying your industry is flooded, it's not. Your mindset is flooded, right? Because you have to recognize that, one, not only are you not offering the exact same product as somebody else. If you are, then you probably aren't doing well. So for those of you who are in MLMs, you can't just offer the same exact products as somebody else. You have to be that person's go-to coach or confidant or friend. That's the value that you add. And the people who do really well in MLMs, what they do differently is they are a different representation or a unique value add-on of the products that they sell. And that's so true for those of us who own our own business as well. So for those of us who are non-MLMs or you have your own products, your industry is not flooded. Think about how your products are different. Do a SWOT analysis. So that's your strengths, weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. And I'll say that again, because not everyone knows SWOT. Strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Do that for yourself. This will tell you, look at your strengths, look at your opportunities, look at what weaknesses are unique to you. You are a unique person. You have unique experiences. People will relate with your unique personality differently than anybody else, and that's what you bring to the industry. Not to mention that keep in mind that no matter what industry you're in, there are people who aren't familiar with that industry yet. we exist in our industry, and we are, a lot of us, myself included, are very tunnel visioned in it. You know, we're in all the groups, we study all the things, we know all the people who are doing well and all this other stuff, but someone who's outside of our industry may not have any exposure to it. You know, I mean, I just met someone the other day who had never heard of Tony Robbins, never even heard of him, you know. And so don't tell me that like the personal development industry is flooded, because it's been happening for 100 years and people still need that, and they still have not been exposed to it, or they're not hearing it in a way that resonates or makes sense to them. So that's myth number 10, that your industry is flooded and there's no opportunity there for you. Now in Business Builder, we do talk about how to create unique opportunities for yourself. We do talk about the benefits of having a blue ocean strategy, is what it's called when you are completely unique in your field. So we do cover some ways to differentiate yourself, but don't use that as an excuse if you're telling yourself that it's just because the industry is flooded. So, whew. I'm amazed we got through all 10 in 20 minutes. If you guys are still here, let me know. Shoot me a comment. Let me know what you guys think of the top 10 myths that hold people back in being successful in their own business. And quick pitch, I'm not even gonna lie, that's what this end part is. If you guys are interested in learning more about this, learning how to apply it, learning how to overcome some of these mindset blockages or strategy blockages, check out Business Builder 101. I have a link to the waitlist on my page. It is my like gift to you guys. Like honestly, this program is amazing. Ty's been in it. Let's see who else is on. Randy, I think, did it too. So we have 2 graduates here in the comments already. But this is an awesome, awesome, awesome program that covers a lot of what we talked about. It is my personal way of experimenting with and teaching my experiments to you guys on like authentic marketing, authentic business. So it's a completely fabulous program that I really highly recommend. If you guys have any questions, let me know. Leave them in the comments. Let me know what you think. I would love if you want to debate, if you disagree with any of the myths or my, assessment of it, let me know. I'd love to hear from you. So other than that, have a great rest of your week, you guys, and thanks so much for tuning in. I hope this has been helpful for you.